Hey guys, so before the episode starts, I just want to let you guys know that in my Discord, I'm going to be doing this thing called Unpopular Opinions. I just want all of you guys to send me in your opinions on Fortnite and discuss them in the Discord. The ones that spark the best conversation are going to be featured on the podcast here, so be sure to join my Discord. It's going to be in the description of the YouTube video, and if you go on my Twitter, it'll be my pinned tweet. So be sure to join the Discord, and you may be featured on the next podcast. So enjoy the episode. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 10 of the Leven Podcast. I am your host, Leven. Today is a very special day. We have episode 10 of the podcast. It's been the long 10 episodes. It's felt long for me. I'm sure it's not been for you guys, but happy to make it to 10 episodes. Hopefully 10,000 more or whatever it is. We're joined by SpeedyGonzalez today. How you doing, bro?
What's up, guys? Thank you guys for having me. The crowd looks amazing. Happy to be here, man, in this amazing UK studio you got here.
Yeah, man. It's a new studio. It costs a lot. It's actually crazy because you're actually the first person to come on it twice. Like, everyone loved you so much, they just wanted you back. So, like, we had
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know what they're on. I don't know what they would like me, dude. I don't know if you do this too, but like whenever I listen to my voice, I just can't.
I was like that. But like when you have like a whole podcast, you kind of have to listen. Like I'm at the point where like I'm used to it now.
Mm-hmm.
I tried doing a thing where like, because I know with a lot of podcasts, like it's better that you have it so that you hear your mic. Do you know what I mean? So like I can hear myself back, and like you do that. Like and I think a lot of like, I don't know. It's a thing that's done in like just TV industry as well and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So you
We
can
did
just hear
that.
yourself,
Yeah, we did that at ESL.
Yeah.
But that messes with my train of
Yeah,
thought.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't like that.
Literally, like 5 minutes before we called, I was trying it to see if I could like do the intro, and I was like, "Hey everybody, welcome to the." Like I couldn't do it. Like it was way too difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're. I don't know where we got. I don't know how we got to that. But yeah, you're obviously you're a busy guy. I was really wanting to ask you before we get into anything. How do you stay on top of everything that you do? Like you're like, since the beginning, you've always been like this tips and tricks guy, bringing out cool information, all these quirky tricks, and like how do you stay on top of it? Like how?
Like if I'm being honest, dude, like yeah, the game's in a weird state, but I love Fortnite, so it's easy for me. Like, and I like helping people. That was always my primary motivation. So like I started off on Fortnite competitive, just sharing tips and tricks because I would see my favorite streamers. Like I'd see like Tfue in 72 hours, like do something during their stream, and I'm like, do they not know there's a better way to do this? Or like I remember like my first Shockwave tip video, I saw like Poach and Bizzle duoing, and they lined up together, right? Like one in front of the other, and threw a Shockwave in front of one's like feet, and that just sent one guy straight up, and the other guy like went perfect. I was like I bet there's a way to do a better Shockwave rotate, right? And when the creative played around with it, came out with like a tip video, because I had that in mind. I was like, this would definitely, help out like Poach. And back in the day, like I was like a big Poach fan, So so that's kind of how like I just enjoy contributing, I guess, or helping people's gameplay.
So like, what's your process? Do you kind of like notice some? It's like in creating a business, right? Like they say, oh, look for a gap in the market, then capitalize off that. Do you kind of look at where something is just not being done efficiently, or where you feel maybe this could be done better, and then you just go in a creative and just bang it out for a couple of hours? Like what's your process?
If you're asking how I found my niche in Fortnite, I think I just stumbled across it, if I'm being honest. Like I found this like little niche, like I would post videos, like tip videos and help improve your gameplay videos to Fortnite BR subreddit, and they would not do well. But then I go to like Fortnite competitive, and these guys were all about like wanting to get better and wanting to improve, and I sound like Bala because he talks like this. So but
Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, Bala actually does talk like that. Shout out to Bala, man. That's actually crazy. I don't know how you snuck that in. Like, that was crazy. You actually sounded like him. That's crazy.
No, I was listening to him yesterday and I just picked it up. Like, I didn't even do it intentionally. I love Bala, man. But yeah, like, that's a community of people that just want to improve, right? So I found my niche within like a tiny fraction of the Fortnite population, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of like, if I think things could ever be done better, yeah. I mean, things can always be done better. I think like when I came out with my edit course at the time, I thought there was a real need for like a 15-minute warm-up edit course. And for example, like yesterday, Raiders 464 released an edit course. I tried it out. That thing was like really nice. It included a lot of advanced edits, and it also included like a shotgun aim training component to it too.
Yeah.
So like for that's an example, right? Like I saw a lot of the stuff that I had in my map in his, but he just like in his mind, I'm pretty sure he's like, yeah, I can do a way better job, and he did.
Yeah.
And that's just for example, like the times they move on, they move forward, and there's always like new stuff to do and new ways to do it.
I think it's crazy. I used to remember like banging out your map. Like I'd log on, bang out your map, and it's like my flipping shoulder and my arm would be your height. And I'm like, I don't need to do this shit. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
This shit hurts. But it was helpful, right? Like that kind of content is what we need more of, you know.
Yeah, my forearm was burning yesterday. Like after using Raiders map, dude.
Yeah, that's when you know that you did like you did a good job, right? It's the same with like going gym, right? That's what people say. Like when it starts to burn, that's when you know you're doing a good job.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like the gym mentality when it comes to like those courses, because it feels like I don't know, like a workout plan.
Yeah, like
basically.
A circuit. Yeah, like a gym circuit. Yeah. Before we get too sidetracked here, I thought we'd just quickly, if you listen to the first episode that we did together, it's probably a bit outdated now just because we're talking about World Cup, but I think it's a good listen. You should go check it out. We did over and unders for the World Cup. Essentially what that was is we had mock predictions from a website. I don't even remember the website anymore, but they had their mock predictions of the solo World Cup finals. We took a look at them. We basically said over and under for each person, you know, gave our reason why. And I'm just going to quickly I guess we go through each one and see which ones we got right, which ones we got wrong. I know World Cup is long gone now, but I guess it'll be pretty cool to see what we got right. Starting off, they had Tfue at first. We said under on Tfue. We did not believe he'd be first, and we were 100% correct on that.
Yeah, Tfue had a couple rough games. I think his main problem was like everyone landed at block ball spawns.
Yeah.
So he had like scuff rotates to zone every single game.
Yeah. And it's funny because if you actually listen back to the podcast, right, you specifically were like, I can see Tfue just getting out mechanicked, right? And then when I listened back to that today, the clip of King taking this wall first time just replayed in my head, and it's like, you are 100% right about that. Going on to second place, we had Stompy at stay. We thought that he could potentially be second place. We were obviously wrong about that. I don't know if you want to talk about each one, or do you want to just kind of
yeah, I mean, they broke up as a duo afterwards, right?
Yeah.
That was surprising to me. I don't know what went on behind the scenes for that decision, but I'm sure the performance at World Cup was a factor.
It's weird because they're still in a trio. Like, they split up as a duo. So, like, if there's ever duos again, they won't be playing with each other. But they are still teammates on the trio. I kind of find that weird. But
did they come back to each other? I haven't kept up because before they were like Aqua, Stompy, and someone else. No,
it was always been Aqua, Stompy, and Shinken. Or it's been like that for a while at least. I don't know, maybe before, because I know.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking of Aqua Nyrox. splitting, even though they won.
Yeah, like there's a lot. Yeah. If we could probably talk about that real quick. Like, did I make a video about it? Yeah, I did make a video about it. Yeah, I think obviously people, because they won the World Cup, people kind of like, oh, you guys best duo, blah blah blah, da, 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 da. And I kind of said there's a lot of factors that go into making it, winning the World Cup, that event specifically. And in terms of when you're looking at context, like they've never been the best duo in the world. Like when they were playing together, yeah, they won the World Cup, but in terms of leading up to World Cup, they were never considered the best duo. After the World Cup, before duos got scrapped, I still wouldn't have considered them the best duo in the world. Like, yeah, their play was amazing, but when you look like down to the little factors, the format of the event could have been improved. If you have a different format, if you just change even the tiniest things about the format itself, maybe you add 2 more games, right? And standards completely different. The way the points were split up, just even the fact that the players said that the servers were terrible, things that just small different factors that's kind of made me think, hey, maybe we shouldn't jump to call them the best duo, and even if you know the inner workings of their duo within the EUC, and I think a lot of people kind of predicted that anyway. I was somebody who always predicted. I never saw. I predicted that if there were to be duos that split, they'd probably be one of them, and obviously it happened. I don't know what you felt from your perspective.
Yeah. Just to clarify, we're talking about Aqua and Nyrox here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you said, there was 6 games, and they had 2 really, really good back-to-back games.
Yeah.
That let them pull ahead, and all they had to do from that point on is maintain consistency. And they were playing ballers over in Snow Zone, right?
Yeah.
Chair ballers, Hamlet ballers. So if you have like 2 ballers, it's really easy to be consistent with placements. Like obviously not taking away anything from them or whatever, but
of course, yeah.
That is definitely a big factor. Like they were able to get easy rotates, keep their ballers alive, pop out of their ballers to do either like a mid ground or a high ground retake if they wanted to. They did get high ground like twice. I think it was like game 3 and game 4 maybe. Just like a month ago or something to get into specifics. But yeah.
It was game 4 and 5, I think. It was the games that they won, right? Game 4
yeah. But like you said, like I hadn't heard of them over in NA. I hadn't heard of them,
which makes sense, I guess.
Beforehand.
But even if you watch the World Cup, like I remember like watching it, right, when they had high ground and it was like 2v1 situation, like last fight of the game, right? Like they had the advantage. All you have to do is play it slow, stay composed, and like Nyrox would jump down and like almost throw the whole game, right? And it's like
that could have turned around,
exactly. Like there's small things like that, and like you can tell when somebody, like you can tell, like those are the kind of things that trigger people and kind of make them like sway as a duo, that kind of thing. We're getting a bit sidetracked.
Well, I mean, like it is a big talking point, right? Like
it is.
The number one. Like it's so weird how many teams or duos split afterwards. It was kind of weird to me.
But even with everything I said, like I don't necessarily think they should have split. It's a thing where like when you're at like the top, like you, like it clearly could work, right? Like the fact that they won World Cup shows that it clearly can work between them. And my biggest problem with EU right now, and I think a lot of the same is happening in NA, where it's like everybody's looking for greener grass. Nobody is willing to like find something. Well, I'm not saying nobody's willing, but people are too impatient, I feel like, right? Like people aren't willing to commit maybe a couple weeks to trying to work on something with somebody and build something with somebody. People are kind of like, I want to play with you. We're going to play scrims for the next 3 days. If it doesn't work, we're moving on. Bam. That's it.
Yeah.
And I get, obviously, if there's no chemistry there, then yeah, you move on, right? But sometimes there's chemistry there. It's just that strategical decisions you guys are making aren't working. And rather than fixing those and like working on those things, you just decide, no, we're not going to play,
Yeah. It feels like everyone's speed dating right now. Just kind of like hopping. Especially with trios, right? Yeah. Where like you can like swap in one guy, like swap him out for another, or like break up a duo, and then they both become solos into like another team's trio who's like composed of 2 duos. I don't know. Trios is a lot of like mix and matching, recently.
It is.
Yeah.
Going into the third player on that over and under list, the people listening probably forgot about the whole list, so we've gone on such a tangent. But going on to that list, we said we had Savage as under. They had him at third place for solos. We had him under. We were correct on that one. I think we should mainly discuss the ones that we disagreed on.
Yeah. We agreed on a lot.
Yeah, we agreed on a lot, but there were a few that we disagreed on that we can probably talk about.
Yeah.
Dubs, we had under. He was at fourth place. I think he ended up coming like 16th or something. Like, he didn't do bad. Like, he performed decently. Bizzle, we had over. Bizzle was fifth place here. We had him over. We were obviously wrong on that one. Do you want to get into Bizzle at World Cup?
Yeah, what was the issue? Bizzle got contested, which threw off his entire rotate and like spawn, I guess.
Where did he
and he
actually
wasn't
place?
expecting that.
I don't even know where he placed.
like 23rd, 24th, I want to say.
I didn't see much of Bizzle, like during the event.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, the camera wasn't really on him, so I can't really for certain say like what happened there.
That's the biggest problem with solos, is my opinion. It's just too hard to follow every storyline.
Yeah.
Next, we had number 6 was Benji. I had under for Benji. You had over. I think, like, looking back at it, I think everybody wanted Benji to be over. Everybody wanted Benji to win. Like, how could you not have wanted him to win? Right? But obviously, it's just like the factors that I mentioned at the time, like just the format, just the way the nature of solo competition. Like, it's highly unlikely. Like, it's too easy for things to go wrong. Was my biggest issue.
Yeah, dude, I got the chance to talk to Benji at World Cup, and this kid like keeps surprising me like in positive ways, dude. Like, just the way he approached his performance was incredible. He's like, he wasn't making excuses or anything. He's like, yeah, you know, I was like 11th, you know, going into game 6, and then like I made it end game, and I was like all set, but man, I just choked my shot, and it was like GG's from there, and like no excuses, you know, whatever. Like, it was just so impressive how he approached like his performance.
He's very mature.
Yeah, he didn't make excuses, and he like laid it out like really honestly. And like I gotta say, like, I'm a big fan from that point on. Like I definitely think he has a long career ahead of him, and I told him that, and I genuinely believe it. Yeah.
Like, I right now believe that he is like one him and Mongra are like 1A and 1B in EU for me right now in terms of best players in the EU. And like I think specifically, I think he's just the most intelligent player in the EU. Like, he has the craziest reads. He's so intuitive. Like, he's able to think so quickly. And I think, like you said, like we've already seen their trio do so well so far. And obviously, as we speak right now, the semi-finals are happening in EU. So we'll probably have to keep up to date with that in case anything crazy happens. But yeah, like you said,
they dropped like a 42 kill win, like their second game today.
And you know what's crazy? Like, I DM'd him on Twitter the other day, and I was like, "You guys are gonna get like a 50 bomb in trios. Like, I see it happening." And he was like, 100%, it's gonna happen. And they're close. They got pretty close. They're in Frankfurt right now as well, which is pretty OP. 0.
Yeah, what's going on with them? They got a house, like a boot camp house.
So yeah, like they are boot camping at, like, you know, like how there's people that organize boot camps and like host them for like orgs and stuff. Like, I can't remember what org was there. I think it was maybe Mouse Sports, but like there was a team that was there boot camping for the Berlin Major in Germany for CS:GO. Like, it's a really nice place, and it's just like 6. Well, how many of them is there? There's like 7 of them, I think. 7 or 8 or something. There's 8, I think, of them just in Frankfurt because of zero ping boot camping, and they're shitting on kids. So yeah.
Is that for like all 5 weeks?
Literally for the whole month. For a month, they're gonna be there.
That's so sick. I wish there was something like that here in NA. There currently really isn't like a true zero ping house. No one really has a org house in North Virginia. Or what were you saying?
No, that's you knew what I was saying. What areas have zero ping?
Oh, okay. Yeah, North Virginia. I mean, like, there's an OT house in New York, but that's 1,000 miles away from North Virginia. But they quote unquote call it zero ping because the network stats or whatever are broken and say zero ping when you tune into creative Fortnite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 100 Thieves is about to get something there. You know, a couple other orgs like after World Cup are definitely looking to like. I hope they're looking to get serious. Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like orgs move really slowly here in NA.
Or to be fair, based off of what we're going to be talking about soon, I wouldn't blame an org for moving slowly when it comes to Fortnite. But we'll get into that later.
That's true. Yeah.
Number 7, I had Mongra over. I thought he was going to do better than 7th place. I'm a big fanboy, so it makes sense. You had Mongra as under for 7th place. You were right with that one, I guess. I think a lot of that, like literally with what I said about Mongra, like we can literally just swap it round with what you said about Benji, right? Like it was literally like, yeah, you can basically swap whatever what we said. The same thing is kind of apply there. Number 8, we had Clicks. We had him both at under. We were right about that. He just didn't show up for me. I don't know.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure what happened with the whole click situation. Again, like solos is difficult to follow a storyline. If people aren't performing, then they just don't get camera time. So I'm not too sure what happened. Was that man?
Zayt, we had over. We were both wrong about that. Which was weird because he played well in duos with Saf. He played well. They placed 4th, right? So at that point, like, or if you place 4th, like he's obviously very confident coming in. I'm sure he expected a lot from himself, and he didn't disappoint, right? Like he's regardless of the way the money was distributed because of the standings, he did well. Like he
walked away a millionaire.
Like he's chilling.
Yeah.
Keenstar, Keenstar said stay. I think you said over. Yeah, you said over for Keenstar, which you were correct about actually, and I was correct in saying stay. I think. Well, no, actually, because he was over. But yeah, you were correct about that. And then we both said over for Sky, which was 100% right, because Sky ended up coming like 7th or 6th. Like that guy's crazy. I was on Hotline FN with Bala and Tim McD, and we were discussing like top 5 players of all time. And like I think you have to put Sky in your top 5 all time. Like solo players, just like what they've done contextually over their whole careers. Like Sky's been so consistent when it comes to solos. Like even with his injuries, like he's suffering from like tendonitis or some shit, and like yeah, like it's been rough for him. Yeah, like it's been rough for him during the World Cup qualifiers. Like I think it was to the point where people like he was close to not qualifying, right? And then he makes it and comes top 10. Like amazing performance for him.
At least now he could like get some R&R, right, and nurse his injuries.
Yeah, 100%. I'm pretty sure World Cup players have been paid out, right? So someone told me something like that. Or like
I have no idea.
Like apparently Epic changed their system so that you get paid like real quick now. Something like that.
Checking my email. No, nothing there. I'll let you know though.
Feels bad. The Mentos was put at like 60 something on the rankings, and I had to put him at over just because like me personally as someone who's paid attention to him in EU, there was no way I was going to see that, and I was 100% right. He ended up coming like, I think he came top 20 or he came like 21st, just outside the top 20.
Yeah, and he came first this past weekend, right? Trios.
Yeah, exactly. Him and this trio. I'm blanking on the names. Letwick, I think, and who's the third?
I don't know, dude. It's your side of the pond.
Yeah, I'm blanking. That's my bad. And
no, I VOD reviewed them a little bit. They had a really interesting split.
Yeah, their split was mad. Yeah, that's kind of like they split like Lucky, Fatal, and
it was like a ridiculous, like dumb split.
Yeah,
like,
but it works, which was crazy.
Yeah, they get like the whole south side of the map, like just high glide around there.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then the last one, which we didn't actually talk about on the podcast, but we did talk about off the cast, and I'll give you a credit for. you actually did mention Booga, and I think on the rankings, Booga was like 17th, and you did say over for him. And you spoke about how like he was just so insane mechanically, and like you predicted him to be really high up in the standings, and he ended up winning. So
yeah, that was nuts, dude. I remember like I VOD reviewed him week 1 after he qualified. He was like taking people's coned walls. I DM'd him because I thought he was using my scroll wheel place trick, but it was just like no, it was just good ping, and that's when like the box fighting wall replacing meta started because of Booga.
Yeah.
And then later on clicks, and people were like VOD reviewing them, trying to figure out what these guys were doing right. And it was just like they adapted this like play style that accommodates like them being able to take walls and box fight before anyone else like even knew it was a thing. Right? It's just like a meta that they developed because of their geography.
Yeah.
But they took that they took advantage of that, of their geography and their zero ping, became insane mechanically, and like took those mechanics and that big brain, because it's not all just mechanics with Booga, it's also like that big Fortnite brain.
Yeah.
Took it into World Cup, dude.
Man,
came out on top.
Absolutely dominated the event, like
yeah, it wasn't even close. That was nuts.
We've not seen anyone dominate an event like that.
Yeah,
like that was
he didn't play ballers or anything. He's just insane.
That was
insane solo player.
That was crazy. Epic's philosophy. We're gonna have to get into all the brute shenanigans, to all the I'm sad thinking about already. So Epic obviously released a blog post about the brutes, trying to justify their philosophy. They brought out a bunch of bullshit stats, like
these things don't make sense. Like I don't all right, like I put up the chart right when I first saw it, and I was like, yeah, the brute eliminations in arena and trios, they make sense to me that they're so low, because these players know to shoot the brute out. Right? Like of course the brute's not gonna get elims there, and if you're trying to point to this stat and say brutes don't even affect gameplay in arena, it's because arena players dislike the brute so much. Like and I'm trying to like not use the word hate. That's something that I'm trying to work on. Like not, I'm using dislike instead. But like they don't want the brute in the game. They know to shoot it out, and that's obviously affecting the stats here. What's this chart supposed to tell me? Right?
It's a thing, like they're just completely disregarding the fact that the brute doesn't have to get eliminations to affect a game. like just people straight up, people avoid certain landing areas because they see a brute on the map. Like that in itself is enough for you to show. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's not.
Yeah, like
you telling me it only averages 4 elims per game. Like that doesn't mean anything, because I'm playing in these games and
that's 4 elims too many.
Exactly. Right.
Like 1 elim is too much already. Like was it like, I don't know, if they would have done an introduction of a robot that could farm for you and help you rotate, I would have been like, all right, let's try it out. Let's see. But they gave it automatic shotgun on the right arm and a 10 missile firing thing on the left arm that does 50 damage each. Like you can't build again. Like, all right, I'm not saying it, like all this stuff has been said before.
My biggest thing is just like, who wrote this post? Like whoever. I feel so bad for the idiot that had to type this post out, and like how do you even justify bad. This? Like, and the biggest thing that triggers me, is how now they've actually nerfed the brute, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, so what happened to all this stuff you were saying 4 days ago about how it's perfectly fine and the eliminations are fine? Like, so what, you just realize you're wrong? Like, Epic will never admit that they're wrong. They will always find a way to just ignore completely, blur the lines. Like it's ridiculous to me how, forget the brutes in itself, right? In this post, they were They literally just said that their goal of their competitive Fortnite is to not have it competitive. How is competitive? I'm getting triggered, bro. How can you say competitive is a fun experience where anyone can win? That's just not competitive then. That's just not the nature of anything competitive. Like, how do you even say, like, what? Like, and the thing that triggers me the most as well is the fact that Arena is your competitive mode. You have ranks in Arena, right? You literally have a ranking system in Arena to separate people of different skill bases. So why put the Brute, which you said is designed to even out and make it accessible for all skill levels, in a game mode where you literally separate skill mode? Like, what? Like, how do you do that? It's so dumb. Like, I'm triggered.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna have to cut in here and make sure your blood pressure doesn't get too high.
Literally, bro. Like this whole, I recorded a reaction video like as soon as the post came out, and I had to delete it. Like, it was too much. Like, how,
I don't know, man. Like, I spend too much time trying to understand Epic's decision making. Like I understand, right? Like you need to, like, your main source of income right now is V-Bucks and, and skins, like selling skins or whatever.
Yeah.
So your main goal as a company is to sell those skins, right? Like, you want more players to sell skins. You want players to be having fun playing your game. If they play your game and they're like, they see a cool skin, cosmetic in the item shop, maybe they'll like get their mom's credit card, buy it or whatever. Like, but like, how does I can see maybe like a little Timmy getting into a Brute and getting a couple eliminations and having like a good time until his Brute gets shot out, right? Like I can see that, but like more often than not, like there's gonna be one Brute on the map, 99 players getting like completely demolished, destroyed, shit on, whatever you want to call it. Like they're not, there's 99 players in this lobby not having a good time and just like getting off the game because they're frustrated that this thing's in the game. I don't know.
Bro, like it's to the point where like my girlfriend, right, plays Fortnite with me every once in a while because she just like, she enjoys when I like carry her to wins, right? Yeah. And it's like, so she's like the most casual of the casuals. Like, she doesn't even, like, she can't even build still. Like, she doesn't know what she's doing at all, right? I think we probably played like 100 games with each other, and she's got like 3 eliminations total, right? We get in the Brute, she gets like 4 eliminations of the Brute, right? So I'm like, how do you feel like you getting bare kills? Like, this is new to you. And it's like, she's like, yeah, it's good, but like this thing is clearly too OP. Like, it's like, it's not satisfying.
It's not rewarding.
Like, yeah, like, and she literally, and that's coming from the most casual of the casual players, right? Like,
there isn't a sense of achievement. It's like a participation trophy.
Literally, that is what it is. And
like with a shotgun, right? Like the blue pump that can one pump. Like, you give that to a bot, and maybe like 1 out of 100 times, or like, whatever, they can one pump a good player, right? Out of luck.
Yeah. And
after that one pump hits, there's some sense of enjoyment and achievement there, right? Yeah. Like, they know, I probably don't deserve this elimination, but I'm so glad I hit that one pump.
That's what I'm
saying.
It
feels good.
I know what it feels like to be that noob.
But like with the Brute, it's just it's a different feeling altogether. You just you just feel dirty.
Literally.
I know.
And this is just getting more into. Sorry for cutting you off there, but getting more into the philosophy of things. Like, somebody, I don't know who the person is, but somebody kind of had a Twitter thread, right? I think they came from like, they're like a WoW developer, and like they basically explained really well the process that Epic is going through, and it was like, it's scary because it is like, it's so accurate, right? In that they said, right, so Fortnite's like the biggest game, right, in the world, right? But they need to continue to grow and get investors and get sponsorships and investors, right? But to prove that they're growing, they need to acquire more casual players, right? Like the hardcore fans are the hardcore fans. They're there. They know that they have us, right? And they've proved that they know the shit that they put us through. They know that they have us, right? But they need to acquire more and more casual players. So they do these things that appeal to casual players, or that try to appeal to casual players, right? To make it easier for them, right? Because in that way they can show these investors that they're continuing to grow, right? But the problem is that what happens is that eventually, right, Fortnite will grow to the point where, like, because they have so many casual players that the game is saturated with the amount of casual content that they're putting in. The game will become saturated, and at that point, as soon as a competitor comes that is good enough, us hardcore fans will move on. And the thing is that like the game developers don't realize in this process is the fact that if enough of the hardcore fans move on and talk badly about the game, a lot of the casual fans will join us, right? So what happens is that as soon as Epic has a worthy competitor, right, if they get to that point, people start to move on. And we've seen Epic get like really shook when this happens and fix up, because when Apex was blowing up, what did they do? They decided to fix up. But my biggest fear is the fact that when they get to that point and when that big competitor comes out, it'll be too late, right? That's my biggest fear for Epic and like Fortnite as a game.
Yeah, the new, what is it, Modern Warfare is coming out soon.
Yeah,
I mean, it looked pretty nice. I'll be honest, like I'm a Call of Duty dude.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna try that out, and it's got crossplay. But like Fortnite's like I agree with everything you said, 100%. The thing about Fortnite is it's got this really good like building mechanic that you just can't get anywhere else.
Like you can't emulate that, and anything that ever tries to emulate that is going to be seen as like a knockoff version just because of the way people are.
But here's the thing, it's not copyrighted, right? Like someone can like they can introduce a build mechanic with like, I don't know, it could be like a basic mechanic too. Like you don't have to have like Fortnite graphics or whatever, you just have to have like game physics, and I don't even know how to explain it. Like you can give building to Modern Warfare if they do it right. I don't know.
I know what you're trying to say. Like I've tried to envision this as well. Like where like
it's
tries to replicate what Epic's like has done.
Yeah, the first version of a replica probably won't look too good.
Of course not.
Yeah, we're probably like a year or two out from anyone even attempting it, because Fortnite is dominant. But I don't know. Like you said, like if they don't. Like, there's two pieces to the puzzle here, right? There's acquiring new players, new casual players, and retaining players, right? These are two sides of the equation that are keys to success for any business, like acquiring new customers, retaining old customers. And if you're not retaining, like if you're throwing stuff into your bucket, but the bottom of your bucket's out, then like your bucket's gonna be empty. You know what I'm saying? Like the bottom's falling out here. Everyone's playing Minecraft. Like
people are looking for alternatives, right? And it's to the point where like I don't know why other big developers haven't made more attempts to kind of like cut into what Epic has got here, because trust me, like people, as much as people love Fortnite, like, and I'm one of those people who I love Fortnite. If a worthy game comes out, I'm gonna take a shot at that. You know, there's people who, in terms of casual players, right? Because competitive players, the money that's in Fortnite right now, like you're not gonna get that anywhere else, right? So you have more of like an inclination to stay. But as a casual player, like I know there are plenty of casual players who I know personally who will just be like, there's nothing really else to play right now, so I might as well just play some Fortnite, right? Oh, they have a new update, let me just try this, like. But like there's no competition for Epic right now, and it just means that they can take advantage and they can experiment with things and they can try things, and I just wonder how long it's gonna last.
Yeah, I mean, like, did you see Courage, the clip of him dying to a mech? I don't know if it was like during or before Twitch Rivals. Like dying to a mech, just like this is like I got a lot of respect for Courage, man, because like he does get some checks from Epic, right? But he's very outspoken when it comes to this, and like everything he said, I completely agreed with. Like I love this game so much I'm so passionate about it, but there's people making decisions that are ruining it.
Yeah.
And it's just unbearable, and it's heartbreaking, and it's like an abusive relationship at this point. And like now Courage is off playing Minecraft and having a blast.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting because it's like, did you see Donald Mustard, what he had to say about Fortnite a long time ago?
Yeah, the 2000s. Yes, I saw this like before it got brought up by the comp Reddit.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it again. I don't know. It's just
it's funny.
I feel like it's a different man we're speaking to. Like 2019 Donald Mustard is different from like 2017.
But do you know what the biggest thing is though? Like my biggest problem with Epic, which is where like I don't blame them, right? Is the fact that I know for a fact, like Fortnite is the biggest game ever. Like no game has ever been as big as Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
I know for a fact going into Fortnite, they didn't expect to be as big as they are now, right?
Yeah.
Like
no one did. No.
Like and that's why I think where he said that, right? Where he said if Fortnite becomes an esport, we will make it. That I 100% believe in, because if you have a game, right, where you don't think it's gonna be as big as Fortnite is now, you want to make sure you have longevity. And to be like it's very simple now. To have longevity in gaming, you need to have a consistent esport like community, right? Like all the long-lasting games now, they have strong esports communities. And I genuinely believe that at the time he meant that, and I'm sure Epic believed that, but when they got into a position where they were making so much money and growing so rapidly, it's like, okay, well, we need to cash this out as much as we can. We need to keep making more until we can't, right? Because I genuinely think that as soon as, let's say Epic do get to the point where the game is genuinely about to die because like they're like, you know, like they're just messing up, I can guarantee you that's when Fortnite would become the actual best game ever. Like in terms of just them doing everything right. Like, because at that point, what do you have to do? It's like you have to listen to community now. Like you're not in your money bag anymore, so you got to do those things. But my biggest thing is that because of the timing of everything that they did, because of how lucky they got with the growth of their game, they're just trying to maximize that, right? Which you can't blame them for. It's a business, right? That is your goal. But
it
is just frustrating when you're like you're flipping, like hanging us by our necks as a result of it.
I think they're too focused on the short term. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like I think they think in like how long is a season? 2.5 months?
Yeah.
10 weeks?
About that, yeah.
No.
I haven't even bought Battle Pass for so long. I bought this season's one just because I got peer pressured into, but
yeah, I think it's like 10 weeks. So I think Epic thinks in 10-week cycles. And 2.5, like when you're splitting the year up into like, what is it? Is it like 5 cycles? Maybe like you're thinking really short term, not long term.
Yeah.
On top of that, like you said earlier, they're trying to attract investors and deals, and they got to show these like growth numbers.
Yeah.
So they're trying to like churn out, you know, these updates that they think will get them those insane growth numbers. Like Fortnite just has to accept that they're at the point now where they're like they're really big and they're not going to grow much more, right?
Yeah.
Like now they need to shift gears and focus on retention and retaining the players that they already have.
Yeah.
Because like everyone in the world's already heard of Fortnite. What are they trying to achieve here?
Like, that's the thing. I think what it is, sorry for cutting you off, I'll let you continue with what you're saying, but I think what it is just where you have like, they want to keep bringing players back, right? Because if you haven't played, like, don't get me wrong, as much as noobs hate the mech, sorry for referring to them as noobs, but as much as noobs hate the mech, don't get me wrong, if you're a noob and you hear somewhere on the internet like, oh, this OP thing has come out, you can easily get kills and wins with it, you're going to come back and try it, right? Like, the mech definitely achieved what they wanted to achieve. It brought players back to the game to try it. Like, any casual player would have come back to try it, whether they stay.
But isn't that isn't that attracting them? Like, it's basically piquing their interest, but for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
So, like, I don't
think Epic see right or wrong. I think everything's just like money, good money, bad money. Like, I don't think they have that like rationality.
maybe like I don't know what the correct way to go about it really is, but I know there's a lot of things that Epic is doing wrong currently. I like tweeted it out too. Like I have a wish list of things they would fix,
Yeah.
right? Before we start talking about like other big changes, maybe like in the future, like some cool map changes. Like map changes are always kind of nice, right? Like you get new POIs to explore, new loot, new loot paths to create, keep the game feeling fresh. There's ways to introduce items so that it doesn't upset and affect the core gameplay, especially competitive.
Yeah.
Like I feel like shadow bombs and chug splashes, for example, were some of the best items added to the game.
Oh, honestly.
Yeah, like no one really complained about them. Storm snipers, were added out of nowhere, I feel like, but no one's really complained about them, or
I feel like when you look at a core level, like you'd think storm snipers would be a lot worse than they are, but like recently at the top level, there's strategy in it, because like if you are playing in scrims and you see a random team rotate, like when they don't need to, 9 out of 10, okay, they know where the next zone is, right? Like like storm snipers actually somewhat added another layer of strategy, right? If you get one, it increases your chances of winning highly, but like it did actually add a level of strategy to an extent, right? So like it was good for the game, I guess.
And I'm watching a streamer like do a scrim, and I'm like, wow, that's really interesting that you have to have that level of awareness now in endgame. Like circle closes and like a second later a full trio launch pads to like a random side of the map. Like that's pretty obvious. Like exactly. Those guys have storm sniper. We got to get over there. And
like even with the team as a storm sniper, you make yourself a target now, right? So like
because you're the only guy rotate. Like you're the only 3 people up in the air, and like 40 people are like looking at you to beam you out of the air. There's a level of risk involved with that too. Like I've seen like the 72-hour Tifu trio get into trouble like twice now because they've gotten into situations where the storm sniper, like they're so focused on like zone pulling north that they force a rotate through a bad like valley, right? So like there's also like ways to wrongly use it, right? Where you let the tail wag the dog, and like the storm sniper's like leading you into a bad position, and then you get like full focused by the entire lobby because you're in this bad position down low. That's just like an example of on the flip side, basically.
Let's talk about your tweet more. So let's get into what you said. You want them to disable and enable, and why? I have the tweet up. Do you have it up? Should I read it off? Or do you want to lead on this one?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
All right, cool.
So I get nervous. I get really nervous tweeting stuff like this because I never want to be controversial or anything, and I never want to get on Epic Games' blacklist, right? Maybe I'm already on it. Who knows?
Yeah.
I've been like a little vocal.
I think
opposing.
I think I'm going to end up on it after this after this podcast. I'm definitely
like the blacklist is a real thing. There's people on it. Like
100%.
But like this is me trying to be as politically correct without ruffling feathers and just stating the pure facts. Like Fortnite comp wish list disable. The things I would like to see disabled are brutes in arena, for obvious reasons. Junk rifts in arena permanently. Right now they made an excuse saying there's an audio glitch, so they've disabled it for this weekend. So as of right now, junk rifts could be reintroduced. I want them permanently disabled because they have no counter. You can't turbo build against it. It 200 O's you. Like it is an instant kill, instant elimination. Like we saw the Booga clip. He's pathing a nice safe mid ground, and he gets a porta potty dropped on his head, or like a cop car or whatever. Like there's no counter. I'm not. Stuff like that shouldn't be in the game. Zombies in arena should be removed because right now, zombies in Retail Row have disrupted the flow of the game. There's just too much loot in retail currently to to like justify them. Like if you land anywhere outside of that area of the map, or you have a spawn that doesn't allow you to go through retail to like farm a couple crystals and get like 5 launch pads, like you're objectively at a disadvantage in this game. Like if you land snow zone, your drop pretty much sucks because you don't go through retail.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, that was my logic with zombies.
No
build zones.
Okay, that's self-explanatory.
Like an end game shouldn't go through tilted zone, and then like everyone just dies at the edge of the zone.
Yeah,
because everyone gets into like a shotgun shootout. Shockwaves. I'm like, they have benefits and they have drawbacks. I feel like the drawbacks outweigh the benefits.
Endgame is just a bouncy castle, like Smith said in the podcast. Like it's not
yeah. I don't know if you want to touch on it or not.
Yeah, I just think it's just it adds this like the one thing I always liked about previous seasons with Endgame is that like there's certain metas and there's certain things that you look to do and try to do, but it never felt like repetitive. Like it never felt like so jarring. Whereas like now, like I can't even replicate the sound of the shockwaves, but like you get to like a certain zone and you know like and someone's just gonna come flying up like, and it's just I don't know. I don't like the way it plays out. Yeah, like I don't like the way it plays out. Like
yeah, like look, I really really love how shockwaves are being used in trios for big rotates.
Yeah,
I really like that level of strategy where like you have to figure out how to get your trio, into half or like first moving, all together using one shockwave. I find that fascinating, but like shockwaves breaking out high ground or like a trio shockwaving up together and then like taking high ground with like it's uncounterable. Like taking high ground takes no skill with shockwaves. Holding high ground is a disaster. Even holding a mid ground, like you're in a nice little safe mid ground, and then a guy from low ground shockwaves up and drops you all the way to the ground, and you fall into a team and die because this guy broke through your builds. Yeah. It just creates so much chaos in an already chaotic game. With like you're dealing with lag, you're dealing with box fights, you're dealing with minigun spray from high ground, you're dealing with rockets, you're dealing with proximities, you're dealing with like managing your mats, and then in all that chaos, like some guy shockwaves through everyone. It's just I don't know, like for that reason alone, I just feel like they should be disabled. But to counter that, I'll touch on this, to balance out, like, because then that will only leave like drift boards and launch pads in the game for the only mobility in the game. Yeah, so later on I go on to say to enable quad crashers, just to add some more mobility to the game, so it's not just launch pads and drift boards. FOB settings, for obvious reasons, like the commute, like I don't even know whether I'm beating a dead horse or not, but like that's on my wish list. Can't deny it. Like we need to be able to adjust our FOB settings.
It's sad because with all the bullshit that's been happening, like I feel like people just haven't been as focused on that. Whereas like that problem hasn't gone away, guys. Like they've just bombarded us with so many other things.
Like my logic for putting it on the list is like, how are brutes and junk rips healthy for the game and FOB settings up? Like there's a disconnect here.
Yeah.
Shadow bombs. I think shadow bombs were a great mobility item.
Yeah.
I would like to. It would be hard to like get it to a place where everyone on your trio gives up one inventory slot to have a shadow bomb. So I would like to see them become a throwable splash item.
Yeah.
So that you throw a shadow bomb in your 1x1 and your whole trio becomes shadows. Yeah. I think that would be kind of cool to see.
I was thinking about this, right, and I was like, I like that concept. I think So that's not to OP. You make it so that you just have less shadow bombs, right? Like you have less of them.
Yeah, like 3 or 2, whatever the number. Like, and you can throw it at an enemy, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like
enemies can capitalize from it. So like, let's say like they made it so you get less, and maybe the splash radius is like a lot bigger than like regular splash, like splash chugs or chug splashes. Sorry, I don't know what splash chugs.
Yeah.
You make it so the radius is a lot bigger, and then you have less of them, and I think that is the perfect mobility item.
Yeah, I agree.
Quick little question for you. Which one would you rather have, right? Would you rather swap out, would you rather have grapplers in the game now in place for shockwaves, or keep shockwaves?
I'd rather keep shockwaves, I think.
Okay, just one.
Grapples are too... Grapples, like... 10 charges for a grapple is way too much.
Yeah.
And high ground means less with grapplers than with shockwaves, I feel like. Because a grapple, you just grapple up and then build over them, and then that guy pulls out his grapple and he built over you, and then you do that for 10 charges.
Yeah, at least with the shockwaves, like it breaks your build, so then you like fall down kind of thing.
And yeah, like there's currently no way to not take fall damage, so I feel like a shockwave takes some level of skill if you get broken out, but like with grapples, I feel like you just have a free pass to make dumb plays.
Yeah, I agree. I think the main thing with shockwaves that like makes me not as like willing to get rid of them is just like the aspect of like the whole rotations. Like I love that.
Yeah, like, I really love that too. I agree.
What else do we want to get into? In general, I think I agree with your list though. I think your list is basically what most people would agree with. Obviously there's different changes, like in terms of different formats. I don't know, like I know a lot of people said they would have liked to have a LAN for the end of FCS, but like with that, I think Epic's kind of like built their game to be like a largely online game. Like I feel like if they can get to a point where they can have as little amount of LANs as possible, then that's like a good thing for them.
LANs take too much setup, and I don't know.
And like they're not ready for them. Like the servers and shit are just not ready. So I feel like they're better off just having online events. That's their rationality, I guess. I'm not saying that I necessarily want that or agree with that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the coordinating 100 players to come in to like a single geographic location is a lot of work. Like you have to coordinate flights, you gotta coordinate hotels, you gotta feed them, you gotta shuttle them, you gotta make sure they're all like on time and don't get into trouble, and they're all underage, so you gotta chaperone.
Don't you think
it's just like a
no, what are you saying? Don't you, it's just like a what?
Yeah, it's just a lot of headaches. I feel like I'd rather just have them online. Obviously make sure that no one's cheating. Do like a really good job policing online tournaments to rule that out of the question. But yeah, like I enjoy just being able to sit at my computer at home, right? Or go to a LAN center in North Virginia to get 0 ping and rent out an Airbnb. Like, I like that flexibility.
Don't you think though that if Epic were to embrace orgs more, it'd at least make that whole side of things easier for them? Because the way Epic alienate orgs, it means that they have to do everything themselves, right? Because for whatever reason they don't want to give orgs credit. They don't want orgs to be involved in their game as much as they are. But like, surely you're really welcome.
I'm really happy you brought that up. I'll let you finish, but I guess I'm really
because I wrote an article about that, right? A lot of people haven't seen it. I think I might repost it and put it on Reddit. But like I put an article about how like just in general, orgs are just better for like having teams that like imagine at World Cup, right? If people were like chanting their favorite teams, like that would have been like, it makes the atmosphere better for players. It like gives you something like like right now, a lot of people have orgs as an accessory, right? But like in all other forms of competition, like your org is like you represent your org, like you. That's like it's hard to describe. I'll link my article in the description for people to check it out. Like I have a lot more better written there. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
I'm really glad you brought it up because I wholeheartedly agree. Like, so I was talking at World Cup with like some Epic people, and the consensus is it basically depends on who you talk to at Epic Games when it comes to like how they view orgs, right?
Yeah.
Like the FaZe Tfue scandal obviously set orgs back in Fortnite because there was like it got mainstream media involved, and it created headlines that orgs were abusing their Fortnite players, right? And Epic was like, obviously, like the knee-jerk reaction from Epic is to like distance themselves.
Yeah.
But like these are the people allowing the players to have a livelihood, supporting the players when no one else is, and investing in them so that they can succeed. Like Sentinels gave us Booga, right? They signed him, gave him a salary, and allowed him to play Fortnite as a pro, play Fortnite competitively, and support his ambitions to, grind the game, become the best player he can possibly be. And then he qualifies for World Cup, and he wins World Cup. So it's not just like this player, right? He's got this support system around him. He's got his parents, he's got his org, and they're all invested in this player's success.
Yeah.
And
to like not acknowledge them is disrespectful in a way, right?
Relationships definitely matter in life, in all things in life, right? And right now I just feel like Epic doesn't have very good relationships with their community or the orgs, or like there's just not dialogue. I feel like, and I really wish there was some sort of dialogue or some sort of conversation. Like we can disagree or whatever, it's fine, but at least let us talk.
But then again, if Epic are talking and all they're saying is stuff like the blog post they put out, I'd rather them just shut the damn hell up. Because I don't want to hear that. But like with what you said about regulating, like with the regulation of orgs, right? That's why like with all major sports and now a lot of esports are like this, where you have, with the way you have league, the reason why you have league is so that you have the league who regulates these teams to make sure that they are, actually taking care of the players, right? Like I intend on doing a lot more interviews with people who work actually behind the scenes in orgs and within orgs. Like why are NDAs such a big culture in esports, right? Like in regular sports, I can go on Google and check how much any player is making, right? Whereas in esports, everything is hidden, right? Like I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't even know their value, right? Like just small things like that. Like when you have, like, I'm not saying Epic should have a league where they like you invite players, right? But let's say you have it so that, I don't know, if a player wants to compete in Epic events and they are signed under an org, that org has to go through certain checks and regulations via Epic, right? To make sure that they're taking care of that kind of thing. And then if it's not, then that org is no longer allowed to participate in Epic. Like, just, there's ways to do things, right? Which makes it so that you have regulation going on, and then you can at least support orgs and involve orgs. Because I'm telling you right now, like, even there was a time when things were like this, though, right? Like back in the squad scrim days, back in the days where squads were a big thing, people would support teams. Like people would be like, "Oh, Team Secret are the best team in EU, or FaZe are the best team in NA." Like those were like conversations that I had. People supported teams, right? Now, now in the scene where we literally just have mix and match, like Zay and Saf have been one of the best duos in the scene for how long? not on the same org. It's like you don't support a team where you support Zay and Saf, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, Fortnite's in a weird space, right? Where with orgs, I think a lot of orgs have just kind of accepted that for Fortnite you can mix and match, and you shouldn't force your players to play together with org members or whatever. Like Liquid, you got Chap playing with tempo teams or players. You got Riverson playing with 100 Thieves players now. But I don't know. I wanted to touch on again, like the atmosphere for orgs really taking Fortnite serious. I feel like when they think about it, there's a lot of risk present, and in the long run, I just feel like it hurts the competitive ecosystem. Like if an org doesn't know, the future of Fortnite, or whether or not they can even put their logo on their player's jersey when they go to World Cup, because that was a big issue. They had like logo restrictions or whatever. Like if they can't even do that, like for example, an org like C9 can't really feel like they can get really, really serious and behind, coming into Fortnite and invest like full, like an org can't full send Fortnite. They kind of have to dip their toes in the water and hope it plays out right. That's what I was hoping World Cup would change. Like everyone would see like this great success of an esport. For the most part, I feel like it was successful, right? Like not a lot of issues, not a lot of crashes. National headlines, national news, Booga, making national news.
Massive national attention.
Everyone in the world knew what just happened that weekend. But I can still see
the way they followed that up has been poor.
Like I don't know, dude. Like if I worked at Epic, I would. Like Epic doesn't even have a competitive community manager, right? Like
they do.
Like it should, huh?
Nate Nancer.
No, he's like the commissioner, not the community.
Oh, like
community,
a community. Oh, okay, yeah.
Competitive community manager. Like there. Like there's no one managing relationships.
It's weird because it's like there's different teams. Like I spoke to Kraz about this. There's different teams that work within Epic, and like this has now just become like common knowledge. Like people know this that different teams and different departments within Epic want different things, and certain teams clearly get their way over others, right? Because I can tell you right now, Nate Nancer is not sitting in his office like seeing all the shit going on. Like, oh yeah, this is what I want. This is why I left flipping Overwatch to come to this. This is sick. Like there's clearly like there are things that need to be worked out. My biggest problem though with Epic was that if you pick up Nate Nancer, and there's not just Nate Nancer. Like I've read articles of like people who worked in other successful esports, right? People coming from Dota 2, people coming from League of Legends, people coming from Counter-Strike. And like they've come to work for Epic's competitive team, and it's like, well, wow, these people are great. Like they have so much experience in esports. Like, why not Epic give them the freedom to make something out? Like if I'm Epic, if I'm hiring all of these well experienced people, why not give them? Let's say, hey, you guys have 6 months. Do what you want with competitive. Make it something, and if you make it something, we'll give you the freedom that you need. But like it's like they've hired all these sick names, these big names, these sick people. And it's like, nah. Like we have this thing we got going on. You guys can like observe and watch what we're doing. Like it doesn't make sense. Like I really want to see, and this will never happen. Like I know this isn't gonna happen, but I'd love to see Donald Mustard, whatever the hell his name is, come out and say like
the Mustard.
I'd love to see him come out and address that clip. Like what has changed? Like. Because you cannot tell me that Epic are making this game an esport. Like, who was it that tweeted? Was it Summit that tweeted Fortnite's not an esport? Like,
I don't know. I think Donald Mustard's like head is more on the court. Like like there's
corporate
a
side,
difference.
100%.
Yeah, like he's got the Disney partnerships, the John Wick partnerships going on. And he's like going out and like he's doing victory laps, right? Meanwhile, the game's rotting from the inside out. Yeah, there's a different frame of mind when you actually play the game, as opposed to like, I don't know, like thinking up ideas and never touching the game or never like queuing in. Like if you actually play the game, it's like it's wrong, like it's not heading in the right direction. But if you don't play the game and you're like off, like running a business or like doing whatever, like even if you're like working or going to school and you're not worried about Fortnite, like it's easy to just kind of like let the days go by, right? And not worry too much. And then you're like, oh, why is like these Fortnite competitive subreddit people are so whiny, like so negative. Every time I go, there's just negativity. Why, like, wow, like there's this is a symptom, not.
And I feel bad about the people who are public, like the Sundowns of the world, like he sees, like Sundown's active on Twitter, he sees all the shit that's being said, right? Like, like imagine being someone like that, like where you are like a public figure within Epic, and like you're being screwed by the people behind the scenes that nobody else sees, but you like have to see and bear witness to the flack, like it's a messed up system.
Yeah, I mean, like. At the end of the day, Sundown's an employee, right? His priority is just to keep his job and do a good job and kill it. And he's been killing it, dude. Like his casting's been so
he's
like
improved so much.
He's improved so incredibly much. Great respect for the man.
And he's done so much to help the comp scene like as much as he can.
Yeah, I've seen it too. Like I can kind of tell like. He has to bite his tongue a lot. Yeah, unfortunately.
100%.
Yeah. But he he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Like he's aware.
Do you know what my biggest thing's been? Like this is a weird side note. It's like we've had very serious conversations, so just to line it up. I'm surprised that like nobody's come out like as like the nephew of one of these big guys at Epic, like, and just been like, oh yeah guys, like my uncle works at Epic. Yeah, like he's explained, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised, like, nothing like that's ever really leaked. Like, even like with the Donald Mustard guy, like, his brother doesn't talk. Like, I'm sure his brother. Well, I'm not sure how much his brother, because his brother, like, that's actually how we have the clip, right? Because his brother's a YouTuber. I'm sure, like, I'm surprised people don't like spam his brother. Like, yo, ask your brother what the fuck is going on with this game. Like,
well, that's what I was talking about. Like, we don't have dialogue with the game, so we're resorting to trying to find these little nuggets of information from December, like a YouTube video from December 2017,
honestly,
where this guy played duos with Donald Mustard, because we want some nugget of insight to like what the fuck is going on with this game right now. Like, but like, that's a bad relationship where there's no back and forth communication, right? Like, like now we're just resorting to desperate measures. Like that's not like we should be able to just talk to one another.
Yeah. And it's like even if we just had even if we just had one person like who like not spoke on behalf of Epic, but kind of like could like be that that person to kind of give us more information. Like we have like next to no information.
Yeah, like even the Reddit Q&A or AMA, like I don't think I got any real insight. Like it just felt like they were giving us party lines and making sure that they didn't say too much to get in trouble, like.
You wanna know more about Donald Mustard?
Yeah, hit me with some fun facts. Yeah.
Donald Mustard has 1,000 games played on Fortnite and 2 wins.
Epic.
Oh man, I wonder how. Wait, let's see. Has he played Fortnite in the last 7 days? No, he's not. He's
like, let's steer this back. I don't want to like. Let's get back on track here. This is going down down some blacklist territory, dude.
I'll chill. No, but like as much as I like I will criticize the game. Like I'm not an idiot. Like if you just like think rationally and like you can see, like, there's a lot of reasoning behind why Epic does the things that they do, and you cannot blame them. Like, with what I said about, like, the money back thing, like, if I found myself in a position where I'm in a space where I didn't expect myself to be, and I can capitalize as much as possible from it, of course I would, right? Like, it makes sense with the things that they do to an extent sometimes, right? Of course, like, it's just the simple things like communication would help a lot more. I just hope that we get those things. Like, I think at this point, maybe you could say back in the day we used to whine about stuff, but I think at this point now it's like we're just asking for basic things, you know, a lot of the time. And
I mean, we just want things to make sense.
Yeah.
Like we've been through some like really bad times in Fortnite, and the community doesn't forget about them, right? We just kind of like we're happy we're past them, right? But they did happen. Like we're emotionally scarred at this point. Like when rockets used to damage you through builds, right? That there was a time in Fortnite when like explosives would just hit you through a build. Swords would come out of nowhere and just like kill you, and then they, you know, disappear to the next guy in the middle of a tournament. Like I don't know. I just feel like if we had some form of, I tweeted this out the other day, like if there was some sort of advisory board, like comprised of, like high level officials or community figures in Fortnite, you know, that would have some sort of input before big changes like that were introduced. I feel like someone has to be in the room to just tell them this is a bad idea, here's why. I just feel like right now everyone in the room is just afraid to speak up. That's the vibe I get. Like Epic has grown a lot. Maybe new employees feel like they can't voice their own opinions because they're so relatively new. And they want to keep their job. I don't know. I don't know. Like just.
And even like with what I said about Nate Nancer, like if you're him, he's still relatively new to the job. I'm not just gonna come up in Epic and be like, hey guys, like everything you're doing is wrong. Like no, like you gotta adjust to the company, get used to the company, like, you know. And you never know. Maybe like if one of us worked for Epic or like got the chance to work for Epic, we'd be like, holy shit, maybe like what if our eyes would be open? Maybe we're all just wrong, right? And we don't realize why, because we don't have the information. They can't share the information. Maybe there's more to it that we don't understand, right? And like, but until we get that, we only have what we can only go off of what we have, and of course what we have has not been ideal for us, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like Epic is under no obligation to share anything with us, right?
Of course.
But you know, sharing some insight would go a long way. Like, I don't know. I just feel like whenever Dan is like on Reddit saying some things that give us insight, like the community starts to calm down. Like they just like, you know, being kept in the loop and trying to understand the changes. Like when Dan or Epic told us no FOB slider or whatever, I think they gave us like a big response, and the community kind of like chilled out a little bit afterwards because, all right, we got like a decent answer here, and we don't agree with it, but we understand.
Like you answered us. Well, man, thank you very much for joining me, man. We've covered a lot. Like this is probably going to be my longest episode as well, I think, at this point. But it's been
time flies, dude.
Yeah, time flies when you're having a great conversation. Very a lot of interesting things. You know, I'm gonna listen back to this one probably in a bit.
To be honest, this episode for me was probably just therapeutic. Like I feel like I just attended like a therapy session, and
I'm a lot more calm right now. I actually do feel like no. All jokes aside, I feel like I feel better, right? I let out a lot here. Well, you know, hopefully we can make it 3 times lucky soon.
I would love to be on the show again whenever, dude. I feel like a weight's been lifted on my shoulder just like talking. You know? talking about everything going on. There's always stuff going on with Fortnite. That's what I love about it too.
Yeah,
like every week.
That's true. I do love this game as much as I say a lot about it. Tell the people what have you got going on right now? What Speedy Gonzalez's next couple of weeks going to be like?
Right now, I don't think a lot of people know this, but like I think a lot of people think of me as like a tips and tricks guy, but like I've been doing some like coaching on the side.
Ooh.
I'm just like right now it's like a private list of individuals. I'm like debating, like I'm in conversations with some people that maybe it leads somewhere, maybe not. Like I said before, Fortnite has a lot of uncertainty, so I don't know if that'll go anywhere. But I'm just thinking of growing my private client list, I guess is what I'll call it, of like coaching, because I don't know, I really enjoy it. I get a lot of enjoyment out of like putting time into doing like the research, right? Like the spawn drops and like the regional like comp scene here NA East. And then just like advising people, helping them out, because trios is so interesting because it's not just about like one guy and helping them make the right decisions with their mechanics. It's you're managing personalities. You're helping a team work together. You're helping to smooth out some of those rough patches that like some trios have communication issues, teamwork issues, personality issues. And as a coach, you just kind of get to come in and help them work through that as a third party. You know, like
my biggest thing that like I've been thinking a lot about getting into coaching myself, right? And it's a thing where I think me though I'd like, this is something that's done more in sports and not esports much, but like I feel like in terms of coaching, I'd want to work in like a coaching team. Like I'd want to be a part of a team, like because I feel like when you because it's something that's done in sports, right? Because then you have different coaches focus on different areas, right? So like you know, maybe you have a coach that like is committed to mainly focus. Obviously, you do everything, right? You dip your toes in everything, but you have a coach that specifically focuses on managing, you know, players. I don't know, like mentality, personal health, whatever it is, right? And then like you work together and you have your coach and stuff. I don't think that's something that will probably be done in Fortnite. But like that is something that I was kind of looking into. But
yeah, the problem with Fortnite or trying to do that in Fortnite is like the title is coach, but really you're like a friend who's giving them really, really, really helpful advice. And you have like all this research to help back up your advice or whatever. So there's like an element of like you have to have a certain personal relationship with the people that you're coaching.
Definitely.
Like in other sports, like there's like an element of relationship and understanding like your players' strengths and weaknesses, but I'm just thinking of like American football, right, where you have like offensive line, and you have like different formations and you can swap players in and out, because like we need a running back who's who can like run the ball and get us in, so I'm gonna put this guy in because he can do that. I don't know, like it can be a little bit more distant, but like you're really hands-on in Fortnite because like, you have to understand every little aspect of not only like their spawn strategy, but also like any personality conflicts that have been going on with the trio, and knowing how to give them criticism so that they receive it. It's the same as you don't want them to get defensive.
That's the thing. It's the same as being a teammate. You need to know what like makes your teammates click. Like if you like, some people don't respond to certain types of criticism, in the way that is in a positive. So you got to understand each person's personalities, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what made me interested in being part of like a staff, because like that's something that I think I'm really good at, right? But it's like if I can put more time into doing that, and then I have somebody else who puts more time into doing the research, right? Like, and then you work together and you build something together. But like you said, like it, like right now the way coaching is in Fortnite, it's not taken, and just in anything, because of the way orgs aren't being as prioritized. Like it's harder to do that because it's not as serious, right? Like it's like you said, it's like you're just a friend who's who's helping out rather than like a very, very serious coach and whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can do the serious thing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I approach it from like a personal relationship standpoint. Like that's really how I go about my life. Like personal relationships are everything.
Yeah. You're really chill as well. So
yeah, I'm not. Reddit's hot and cold, dude, because they're like I'm really chill, like the kind of guy you'd like hop on, get some games in with or whatever.
Yeah.
But like if I turn on the stream, I don't think they'd be really entertained. Like that's the comments I get on Reddit.
Yeah, I know you mean. I know you
mean. Boring streamer.
Oh no, don't say that. Well, be sure to check out Speedy on everything. You know, his Twitter's gonna be on the screen. Any socials you want to plug?
Yeah, dude. If you see me on Tinder, swipe right.
Oh,
appreciate
Jesus
it.
Christ. No.
Probably Twitter, I guess. That's really where you can find me at. I'm SpeedyGonzalez, with no Z at the end. That's pretty much it. I mean,
that threw me off the first time, by the way. Like, that really threw me off. I was like, what's going on here?
What? Oh, no Z at the end?
Z, yeah.
I wonder why I did that. I think my characters were too long, so I had to cut it out. Yeah.
Well, Jesus Christ, this is a long episode. I love it. I love it.
Hopefully, I gave you some quality content, man.
Yeah, this is quality. The people are gonna love this. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.